Yo, yo, yo. What's the dealio, y'all? Hey, man. 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. We live, all right? We got a lot to talk about. We got to get ready for this week, all right? So if you're just tuning in, man, say what's up, say what's up, say what's up in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from and do me a favor and like this video, all right? You already know we got the watch list popping, and we're going to break down what do I see in the market, what stocks am I looking at this week. All right. So if you're just tuning in, man, say what up, and be sure and do me a favor and like this video. All right. What up, Shali? What up, Best Beezy? What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling? All right. So listen, we got a lot to talk about. What up, JT? What's up, JT? All right. If y'all just popping in, like this video. Let's get this live video to 100 likes. All right. I'm going to drop some sauce on everybody. All right. And I'm going to break down levels. Okay. We're going to talk about the SPY. We're going to talk about IWM. We're going to talk about my setups. All right. We're going to talk about the market as well. All right. What's up, Sunshine? Chicago. Hey, Chi-Town, what's up? What up? What up, Marley? How you feeling, Marley? The hardest working man. All right. Joshua, what up? What up, Doria? How you doing? So, yeah. So we got the stock market, right? What's up, Genesis? How you feeling? Hey, big week this week, Genesis, all right? Big week this week, Genesis. All right? This week right here could change your life. All right. Class time, let's get it. That's right, Josh. Cameron said Cali is where it's at. Hey, I'm from Cali and I'm not the biggest Cali fan. I like Cali for what I like Cali for, but yeah. But yeah, y'all. So look, let's get it popping, all right? So let's check this out. So this week, I want to break this down for you guys. This week can literally change your life. All right? This week can change your life in the stock market. If you've taken L's, this week can change your life. If you've been winning, this week could change your life. All right, I'm going to tell you why. All right, I'm going to tell you why in a minute, but this week can be, you can make 5, 10, 15K this week. All right, we got so many opportunities this week, it's not even funny. All right, First Ballot said, what up? St. Louis, what up? Salute, man. St. Louis, salute to the Midwest. All right, so let's go into it. All right. Be sure to like this video, all right, if y'all have not liked this video, and we about to get started. All right, so first thing is, do I want to talk about the week ahead or previously? Okay, let's do this. Let's go over. Now, let me tell you what's going on with earnings real quick. All right, so check this out. All right, check this out, y'all. We got. I'm pulling it up right now. Earnings. All right. So let's look. So this week, right, we got a legendary week. We got a legendary lineup. All right. So let's look at this. All right. So this is the earnings calendar. Okay. Look, we got waste management. Waste management be moving. Okay. After close. But the week really starts on Tuesday. We got UNH. I'm expecting UNH to go down. We got SoFi. We got PayPal. We got Boeing. We got Spotify. We got MRK. All in the same day. Okay? So you're going to be able to trade all those stocks in the same day based off their earnings reports. After market close, we got Visa. We got Starbucks. All right? Starbucks is a mover. And then we got VRT. I've traded them a few times. We got Etsy. We got Hershey. Okay? After market close on Wednesday, we got Meta, Microsoft, and Robinhood, and Applied, and Carvana, and QCOM. These are 6 stocks that make money. Okay, Robinhood is my favorite. Right? We got a big earnings week, and then on Thursday, we got CVS, we got Roblox. All right, those are some bangers that move as well. And then we got AbbVie, okay, CCJ. After market close on Thursday, who we got? Apple, Amazon, Coinbase, and Reddit. I've traded all these stocks, right? Listen, and you're going to be able to trade them on Friday with the 0 DTEs, knowing what their earnings reports are going to be. All right? So listen, we have a massive week for earnings. We have a massive, massive, massive week for earnings. This is the earnings lineup right here. All right? This is the earnings lineup right here. We have over 10 companies that are reporting earnings this week. So we got a lot of opportunity this week. All right? We have a lot of opportunity this week. So listen, I want y'all to be focused. I want y'all to be locked in this week, okay? I want y'all every night to make sure you get some sleep. All right? Clean up your diet this week. Don't be eating late. All right? Like, focus, because this week could be the week that you explode your account. This could be the week that you change your life. All right? And don't gamble earnings. Right? If you don't have a process on trading earnings, I'm talking about before the earnings report comes out. If you don't know what the result of the earnings is going to be, don't get into a call or a put and then wake up the next day and then you down 100% of your contract. Okay? Wait until the results come out, and then what you can do is you can trade based on that. All right? So I just want to say that. Don't gamble earnings. We got a lot of companies reporting. It's a lot that's going to happen this week. We have a lot of data coming out. All right? So we have a lot of opportunities in this market. So if you play your cards right this week, this could be the week that you change your life. All right? So, yeah, Waste Management, they pick up all the garbage for everybody. All right, they pick up the garbage in Cali. When I was growing up, we had Waste Management as well. So Waste Management is big. You got Waste Management and you got Republic, I believe. I don't know if anywhere else in the country there's other garbage companies, but Waste Management is one of the biggest. All right. So Sunshine said, question, is it best to trade stocks that have earnings in the same weekly time frame? So what I do is I don't trade stocks that have earnings before the earnings report comes out, because the contract values are inflated. So if you go to any stock, right, any stock, if they have earnings this week, their contracts are going to be more expensive than they usually are. And then after their earnings reports and that next day, their contracts are going to, it'll like go back to normal on what the average price is. So for example, last week, Google had earnings last week, right? Now, usually their contracts are like $200 per contract at the money. Last week before earnings, their contracts was like $300 to $500 per contract at the money, right? And so I didn't trade them until after they reported earnings, because I don't like trading stocks that have earnings coming up. So my whole watch list this week, the stocks that I'm watching, I'm not trading the stocks that have earnings coming up until they report earnings and after. Because what happens is these contracts get inflated, they start moving a little bit funky. There's a lot of implied volatility, priced into those, and sometimes you could lose money more than you want to. So I don't really trade stocks until after earnings has been reported if a stock has earnings that coming up week. All right? So that's what I will say to that. All right? So we're going to review last week. All right? We're going to review last week, and then we're going to go into this week. All right? So let's get it. What's up, Cozy? All right, so let's get it. And like I said, if you guys what was I gonna say? I forgot. But let's go into last week and let's see what happened last week. All right, and then we're gonna go from there. Of course. And Cozy, what up? And be sure to like this video. If you have not, like this video for me. All right, that's all I ask. Like this video, and also drop in the comments where you tuning in from. All right. So let's go to last week's watch list. All right. So last week we had right here. All right, boom. So we pulling it up. All right, so this was last week. All right. So last week I had Tempest, and I said they rejected at 74. If we could break above 63, then we go into 67. All right. So let's go to Tempest AI. All right, 1 second. Let's go to Tempest AI, and then we'll see how they performed last week, because I want to show you guys with the things that I'm calling, right, and that I'm putting on my watch list, and I want to see how they perform. All right. So what up, Henry? Alabama, what up? All right, so check this out. So we got Tempest. Where's it at on my watch list? So TEM. Here we go. All right, so Tempest was first on my watch list. So I said above 63. All right, we take it to $67. So let's see what happened. So this was last week right here. All right, so this was Thursday, 17th. All right, so this was last week right here, right? So on Monday, this is where they was at. All right, so this is what they did on Monday. So this is where it was at. Monday, they opened up here, then they fell, right? And then look what happened. They recovered, came back, and then they broke above this level right here. All right, so they broke above my $63 level, and then where did they go to? They went to $64. All right, and then they start consolidating. So even this week, if they break above 65, then we go into 67. But if you got in right here above this 63 level and you rode it to this level right here, which is 64.90, you could have made 100% return on your money. All right, off of that right there. So that's what we did on Tempest. All right, so that was the first one that was on my watch list last week. And then we have Marvel. I said came down to 69. If we could break above 75.43, then calls. So let's look at Marvel. MRVL, we did not get above there. All right, so we kind of just, this was on Monday. So we actually, on Monday, they came down and then they came up, right? So they're right at where they was just at last week. So last week was like a regressive week. We kind of went back a little bit, and then we got back to the same place where we was at last Sunday, pretty much, right? So Marvel didn't do too much. And then the other one that was on my watch list was Dell. Okay, look at Dell. So what did I say on Dell? I said we got a gap to fill to 141. If we can get above 132.01, I like calls, right? With a price target of 141. Let's look what happened. On Dell, this was on Monday. They did not get above 132. All right, they actually came down. They pulled back, and then they came back up. So now, once again, they're at exactly where they was at on last week. So what's going to happen is, I think, and I am very confident that this week, because Dell pulled back last week, I think that we're going to, especially with this trade deal that's going on, and with Trump and Europe and the EU, I think that the market is going to go up. And I think that we could see Dell go to 141. All right. And so, like I said, we got a gap to fill right here. All right. So if you see Dell close above 132.01, that's a good place for a call, right? That's a good place for a call. And then with that, you can ride it to 141 because it has a gap to fill on a daily time frame. All right. So yeah, so that's what we did last week. Okay. So like I always say, if you play these levels, right? If I give you the levels, if I say 132, if the stock don't go above it and you see it reject, then get in the puts, right? If it breaks above it and it starts to stay above that level, then get in the calls and you ride it up. That's how you play the levels. That's how you play the levels. All right. So he said 1 for 1 on Dell. Oh, okay. There you go, Henry. What up, that boy Johnny? What up, E Pepe? What up, Philly in the building? What's up, Dennis? Shout out to Inglewood, New Jersey. Okay. Best B said he made 180% on Dell. There we go. That's your best trade, you said, right? Yeah. So Dell, like this week, I'm about to annihilate Dell. All right. I'm going hard on Dell this week. I'm about to spank Dell like it owed me some money. All right. Because it pulled back from the resistance level and we came right back up. So buyers stepped in. And if you look at Dell on a weekly time frame, all right, look at Dell on a weekly time frame. Look at this. All right. If we look at Dell on a weekly time frame, let's look at it. Dell on a weekly. Check that out. Look at this. You see this right here? Look what happened last week. Look at all of these buyers stepping in. Every time it came down, buyers stepped in and pushed it up. Buyers came down, buyers stepped in. 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 And now we're sitting right here at this 132 level. Once we break above 132 level, right, we gonna blast off and we going to 141. So yeah, so I'm bullish on Dell and I'm excited to see what happens this week. All right. So that's how we performed last week based off of my watch list, right? I do this so that you guys can see I'm not just telling you to about a stock and it don't do nothing or it goes the complete opposite way. I'm looking at good companies, solid companies, right? And I am, based on my analysis, I'm saying what they're going to do. And if you guys follow these levels, you can make a lot of money, all right? I'm trying to help you change your life. Understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to help you change your life and make you a better trader, all right? So with that being said, now we're going to go over the SPY and IWM, right? What they did last week and what they're going to do going up to this week, all right? So if you guys have not already, do me a favor and like this video, all right? Like this video. I don't care if you're on your laptop, your phone, your TV, right? Whatever it is, all right? Do me a favor, get on your phone and like this video, all right? Let's get these likes up. Let's get 100 likes on this live, all right? So let's go to SPY first. All right, SPY first. All right, so SPY, it's at all-time highs as we know, right? Now, if we zoom out, let's zoom out real quick. Look at SPY. We had a nice little cup here, right? And then it blasted off. This was not a cup and handle. All right, this is not a cup and handle, but it blasted off here. So this looks like it's continuously going up, right? But we're going to have a pullback. Now, let me show you guys this real quick. This right here is the average return of the S&P 500 every single month, right? Historically, all right, historically. From 1928 to 2023, right? From 1928 to 2023. So what does this mean? What this means is every single month we have an average return from the S&P 500, which is the market, right? So February, March, April, May. February, May, and September are usually negative and red months. September is usually the month where the market crashes, okay? the month where the market crashes. So because September is usually that month, I'm not expecting a crazy pullback until September, right? Until September. So for August, we may be flat or we may go up a little bit. You see how August right here, we're at 0.63%. So we may go up and down, but I don't think that we're going to go down, right? Until September. And here's the crazy part. It's not going to be the whole month. It may be 1 to 3 days where we see bloodiness. And then investors are going to buy that dip and it's going to push it back up. All right. So this is the average returns of the S&P 500 in the market every single month historically, right? Over the past 97 years or 93 years, okay? Or 95 years. So the past 95 years, this is historically what happens. So look, every time we have a pullback or every time we have a red month for the S&P 500, there's a run up, right? So red, run up, red, run up, red, run up. So after September, once we have a red month or we have that pullback in September, for the next 3 months, which is the fourth quarter, expect a run up and it's going to break all-time highs. All right? So I want you guys to know and understand that. I wanted to go over that right there. So like we're going to have a pullback. We may have some days the stock market, the S&P will be red and stuff like that. We may even have a couple days where it's red, but I think that a stronger pullback will happen in September. And once it happens, everybody going to think the market is crashing. Buyers is going to buy that dip. And then they're going to get rich for the next 3 months, which is the last 3 months of the year. That's how it's going to go because that's what happened last year. All right. I saw it in real time. Okay. So, yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys that and show you guys that so that you had an understanding of what's going on. So if that makes sense, let me know in the comments. All right. Let me know in the comments that makes sense. Damien said, how do you know what instrument to trade for the day? How are you finding the companies? Also, I'm gonna book a call next month. Okay. So yeah, book a call. And then you said when looking at a different time frames, what needs to line up? Let's say example. Yeah, so all of that stuff, like I made a video about that. I find so you want to find a good company. So I went to the S&P 500 and I looked at, okay, what stocks are on the S&P 500? And me and Shelly, we combed through the S&P 500 list and I just found a whole bunch of stocks, right? You got the Mag 7, Meta, Google, Amazon, all of those companies, Nvidia, right? So you could trade those companies and you just read their charts and you learn how to read their charts. And then from there, what happens is you just learn the levels and you learn how to trade that and you start to see, okay, where is this stock going to go this week? And then you base your levels based on where you think the stock is going to go that week. And then you trade those levels on a daily time frame. You trade those levels daily, but I base my day trades off of the 30-minute and an hourly time frame and sometimes even a 15-minute time frame if I'm scalp trading. Okay. So yeah. So and then you said what time frames need to be the 1 hour. Yeah. Day trading, if I'm day trading, I'm looking at the 15 up to the 1 hour time frame. And if I am like swing trading, I'm looking at the daily time frame and also the weekly time frame. All right. So yeah. What up, Reggie? He said the mad scientist. What up? So check this out. So now let's go on the charts and let's really lock in on these charts for, for a minute. So let's go to SPY. So I told you, all right. So I think that the SPY, I think we'll have some choppiness, right? So I would say look for SPY. Let's go in on it a little bit. All right. So I would say look for the SPY. So we have 637. All right. So look for the SPY to, I would say we're going to get some bullishness, but above 637.10 or 21, right? then these are all-time highs. So you don't know exactly where the stock is going to go when it's at all-time high. So what you can do is you can turn on your pivot points right here. All right. And you can look at the next level. So the next level for SPY would be 641. All right. So if we get above 637.21, then 641 is that next level. All right. That's based on the pivot points right here. Okay. I'm using my pivot points because there's no levels at all-time highs. All right. And then the support would be 627. All right. So 627 or 627.32 is a support level. All right. So if we start to reject here, then we could start coming down and we could come and touch about 627. All right. Now let's look at IWM. IWM is right here. Let me turn off my pivot points because IWM is not at all-time high, so I don't need my pivot points. All right, so look at IWM. We got this level right here at 226.77. All right, and then we got this level right here at 228.02. All right, if we can get above 228.02, then we go into 230. All right, we need to get above 228.02 and we go into 230. All right, that's what we need. So that's the levels. And then if we reject here at 226, we could be coming back down to like 224. But as you can see over the past 3 weeks, IWM has been going between 226 and I would say 217. All right. So IWM has been in a $10 range. All right. Over the past 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. So it's just been going up and down between this $10 range. Right. And so once we break above here, we go into 230 and then we could even go a little bit higher to 235. All right. So I would say look for that. Now, if we go to the daily time frame, make it a little bit more granular. If we can get above 224.56, then tomorrow IWM could see 225.82, and then potentially it could see 226. All right, the IWM be running. So you just want to play those levels and know those levels, and then play those levels, and you'll be good to go. All right. So that's the SPY, and that's also the IWM. Oh, my bad, y'all. My bad. Hold on. My bad. I did not know that. Check this out. So, all right, my bad, y'all. So check out IWM one more time. So on a weekly time frame, my bad, y'all. So on a weekly time frame, I've said we've been trading between this $10 range right here, right? We got 227, 226.70, and then we got 217. So it's been going up and down. As you can see, it's been very wicky on a daily time frame. So buyers and sellers are active in this range right here. All right. So if we can get above this level right here, which is 226.70, and then at 228.02, like I said, then we go into 230 right here, right? 230. Now, if we reject right here, then we could come anywhere over here, right? And then if we get below this level at 217, then we could really come down to like 214. All right. So that's what I'm seeing on the IWM. Now, if we go to the daily time frame, we got this dragonfly doji right here, which is a bullish candle. So what this means is if we can get above 224.61, then we could really be coming up to 225.83 and then 226.75. All right, so we could come up to 226 tomorrow on the IWM. And I think that will happen because we have good news, which is going to be a catalyst for the market with the trade deal with the European Union. Okay. So Marvel, I went over Marvel earlier. Let me try to get through this live, and then I may go over that. All right. So yeah, what up, Gerald? What up, Gerald? If y'all watching this, man, be sure to like this video. So we about to get into my setups real quick. If you could find it, let me make sure a video on charting. I have a video on charting. Go to my YouTube page and just type in what you want to know about, and then there should be a video that pops up. All right. Damien said, from options, better to trade ETFs or individual stocks. So if you have a small account, I like trading individual stocks and ETFs, but ETFs, they're going to give you a better bang for your buck, right? Let me tell you why. So let's say that I want to trade, let's say I got $1,000. All right. You can make $100 a day with $1,000 account if you're trading ETFs, because the ETFs are cheap, right? So let's just look at this real quick. All right. If you look at the ETFs, okay, this is Webull. Let's go to IWM. All right, you go to IWM. These are same day contracts, July 28th. So this is tomorrow. They're only $60 per contract. So you can get 2 to 3 contracts, right? You can get, let's say, 2 contracts at 226. If you see it really bullish and a strong uptrend, you could go spend $90, get 3 of these contracts, and you can go make 100% of return, and that's $90 on on this contract right here, right? That's IWM. Now let's say you want to go trade Meta. Let's just say, right? Their contracts are going to be $2,000, right? So yeah, I would say if you want to but some stocks, the option contracts are cheaper. So you just got to find stocks that have cheaper option contracts to trade if you want to trade in individual stocks, right? Or you could just stick to ETFs. Either way, you can make money. It's really about knowing how to read the price action. I like ETFs because there's more liquidity inside of the ETFs. And when you buy contracts and when you sell them, you're going to get filled immediately, right? And if you have certain news happening, then those ETFs are going to be more sensitive to those, because the news and ETFs are they go hand in hand, right? Because they're housing hundreds and thousands of companies inside of that ETF, right? So if you're just starting and you want to kind of learn, you could start with IWM. And then when you get a little bit more skill, you could go to individual stocks, or you could start with one individual stock and one ETF. All right. So yeah. Plus they have Bill Bear ETF choices. Yeah. Hey, and look, hey, shout out to you, Skip. But I gotta say this: the way y'all spell my name is Isiah. All right. I do not have 2 A's in my name. So Isiah. Look on my YouTube name, and that's how you spell my name. All right. But it's all love. So the first stock that I'm looking at this week, okay, let's go to my list real quick. All right. So the first stock that I'm looking at, I'm gonna put in here. We're gonna look at Google. All right. So that's the first stock that I'm looking at that's on my watch list. So let's look at this real quick. All right. So we got Google right here. All right. So let's go look at Google. So Google had earnings last week, okay? Google had earnings last week and they beat earnings and they did their thing. All right. So let's check this out. So this is on a daily time frame right here. So look at this. Google has a gap right here, 202 to 222, right? It already filled some of it. So the gap started at 191. All right. So it gapped up. It had earnings. It gapped up, right? And then it came down. Okay. On Thursday. And then on Friday, it had a little small run up right here. So if Google, but look at the weekly. All right. On the weekly, right? We just came up here, rejected, right? It was a green week though. So if we have, news and good news coming out with trade deals and stuff like that, I see Google hitting $200 this week. All right. I see Google hitting $200 this week. And the reason why is because we inside of this gap, this green line right here is a weekly level. I found it on the weekly time frame. The bigger the time frame, the stronger the level is. So we broke above this weekly level at 191.98. All right, 191.89. All right. So we broke above this level right here, right? We broke above it right there. We came down. We did not come below it. And then look what happened. On Friday, we held that level. All right, look at this. We held this level right here. It did not, it came below it. It pushed back and it closed up right here at 193.15. All right, 193.18. That's where they closed at. So if we can get above 194.29 tomorrow, then Google's going to come touch 197, and then we're coming to touch 200, 202. All right, that's where it's going to fill the gap at, and then all-time highs are at 207. All right, 207.13. I think that this week, Google could come and potentially come and touch and test them all-time highs, or at least fill that gap. All right, at least fill the gap. So from 194 to 202 is what I'm expecting Google to do this week. I'm not saying it's going to stay there, but what I am saying is I'm expecting for it to touch that. And as a trader, you should know how to play that. All right. So like I said, I got it right here. Calls above 194.45. All right. If you're not making money off of my free YouTube channels, what are you doing? Right? I'm giving you the levels. If Google does not get above 194.45, right, then don't take a call, right? If you see it come up there and it reject and it come down, then take a put, right? But I want you guys to understand how to play these levels, all right? This stuff is powerful, all right? So that's Google. That's the first one on my list is Google, all right? Next is on my list is, what do I have? I got Dell. I got Hims. All right, Hims and Hers. So let's look at Hims. All right. So we got Hims right here. Now look at Hims. Whoo, look at this. This is on a daily time frame. On Wednesday, on Tuesday and Wednesday, they went crazy. They went from 47 all the way up to 57. A $10 move on this type of stock will turn you into a millionaire, right? Not in 2 days, but y'all get what I'm saying, right? When you learn how to trade them levels, you will be able to make a lot of money on a stock like this. Hims is a mover, all right? A big, big, big mover, all right? So check this out. Best B said, I'm making money for sure. Hey, one thing Best B gonna do is he gonna make some money. Every single day, every single week, man. He a money-making machine. All right, so look, so we had this move right here. Now, after a move like this, the stock did not sell off and come back down, right? It actually held this level right here, okay? So Hims is him for sure. So what I'm looking for Hims to do is it still has a gap to fill up to $61, $62, right? So if we can get above $60.02, $59.94, then calls, and you could ride those up to right here 62. That's not a crazy move, but that move right there, it'll pay you. But look at how it moves, right? Hims makes these big moves. It may like chop around, go up or down, and then randomly Hims will go crazy and it'll blast off. All right. So it has this level up here at $67. That is, look, it's been rejected and trying to get above here, right? Look, boom, boom, right? It tried to come up here, rejected. So this $67 level, once we get above $67, look, we go into 73. All right. So that's what I would say. What up, Veronica? How you doing? So yeah, above 59.94, I'm getting into calls on Hims. It may be a day trade. It may be a swing trade. All right. It just depends. Because we have a lot of news and a lot of data coming out this week, I may focus on day trading these stocks and then closing my position at the end of the day, right? Here's the thing, y'all. A couple things. Like this video if you have not already. All right. If you haven't, drop it in the comments. Let me know where you tuning in from. All right. And another thing is you want to know if we have a heavy data driven week, I may not take any like swing trades. I may say I'm going to just hold this position for the day and then sell towards the end of the day and be done, because the data could make things go up and it could go down. Because we have this stuff coming out with the tariffs with the EU, yes, that's positive news, but that means that there's going to be volatility in the market. We are going to have crazy times where the market is going to go down this week and then it'll go back up. So you want to know, okay, if I'm swinging something, I want to make sure that I'm getting in right and I'm not, leaving it up to chance. So I may just focus on day trades this week and not swing trades. I may just focus on day trades, but I don't know fully. All right. So Damien said, I bought one call, $75 on D-Wave Quantum, made $90. Bought another call 3 weeks later for $285. Lost all of my money because not knowing PA. Yeah. I would say, man, join the Discord and or do that one-on-one, because I can't answer all of these questions on a live like this. You get what I'm saying? I don't even like have D-Wave charted like that, so I can't tell you. But what I will say is a one-on-one or, working for a month or joining a Discord, that's going to help you tremendously, because all these little small questions is going to get answered. And if they have questions in the Discord about a certain stock, I'll be able to answer that. But on this live, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the information out to you. So all those specific questions that one person may have, I will not be able to answer all of those and give you the individual time that you need, right? So be sure to join the Discord, y'all, right? If you haven't, or book a one-on-one, so that way you can get your stuff answered and you can get the help that you need. Okay? So I'm not watching the news while I'm swing trading. I'm paying attention to the charts, right? For the most part. Marvel Technology. I'll see what I could do. So the last stock that I'm looking at, so we got HIMS and we got Google. Now this is my top setup that I'm looking at this week. If you play this stock right, you might go be in Hawaii in a couple weeks from now. All right. So let's do this. All right. So check this out. So we got Genesis said one-on-ones are fire. Yeah. They gonna know over time for sure. So let's look at my top setup this week. This setup can make you a life-changing amount of money. All right. Dell. Okay. So look, we have a gap to fill right here. The gap just started at 129. Okay. So look. So let me type this in real quick so y'all can see what I'm saying. All right. I'll make this bigger. All right. All right, boom. So look at this. This is a gap right here. Okay. So last week, I put this on my watch list. It did not get above my resistance level, right? 132.01, right? It didn't break above. So this was on Friday of the week before, right? 2 Fridays ago. On Monday, it opened up right here at 130. It didn't come up here. It actually rejected and it came lower, right? So this was a pullback right here. So I want y'all to put pullback in the comments. So this was a pullback right here. Okay. So the stock pulled back right here. Okay. Now, because it pulled back right here and it did not get here, look what happened. It bounced, right? And it came up here. Okay. So what did investors do? What did they do? They bought the dip. All right. Right here. So it was at 130, 131. It opened at 130. It came down to 124, 123. Bounced here. came up, right? So it went from 123 to 131 on Friday. Friday was this day. It was up $4, which was it was up crazy. All right. So then what happened was, now this is where we're at on Friday. If you look at the weekly time frame, look at, that's a Dragonfly Doji right there, and we're right here. Okay. So what I see happening is, once we get above 132.01, we blast off, right? We blast off for maybe 2 to 3 days. And then look, we go to 141. All right. And yes, we could go to 147, but this is going to be the first target right here, because we need to see, this is the first level of resistance. Okay. So price target would be 141. Okay. 141. That's the first level of resistance right there. There's literally no resistance until we hit 141. Okay. So this is my last stock that I'm looking at for the week, and this is my main watch right here. All right, this is my main watch right here. Now, I think that Dell is gonna gap up. Last week they didn't gap up. All right, but I think they're gonna gap up. They may come down a little bit when the market opens, or they may just blast off. All right, but I'm looking at Dell to touch 141 this week. That's what I'm looking at. Dell to touch 141 this week. All right. They do that, it's on and popping. All right. If you could take a stock on an $8 ride, you can literally go, you could 10x your money. We talking 500% to 1,000% returns on your money. Literally, right? Trading weekly contracts. So it's important to know how to do it, right? But you don't need a lot of money. You just need to know how to do it. I try my best every single day to show up and teach you guys how to do this stuff, right? But there is a lot of small nuances that you may not know fully, and that's why you got to join the Discord. That's why you got to book a one-on-one, so you could get these things answered, because you do not want to be taking 2-3 years to figure this stuff out when you could speed everything up, right? By just booking something for an hour to really like lock in and figure it out, or a month, or join a Discord or whatever, right? If it ain't this community, if it ain't the Prosperity Collective, then somebody else, right? At the end of the day, do not sit here and suffer in silence, and don't allow yourself to take forever to figure this out. All right. Get the help that you need so that you can get where you want to get to faster. All right. Like seriously. Asset said I just shared the live to 3 people. Hey, I appreciate that. Salute to that. I appreciate that. Be sure to like this video, y'all. All right. What up, Sean? All right, Key. You have always been killing it. Yeah. No, for sure. Best B definitely be killing it. He for sure be killing it. So those are my 3 setups that I'm looking at this week, okay? Those are my 3 setups this week that I'm looking at. So this is what we're going to do. All right. I got a few minutes, and I'm going to, somebody kept asking about Apple and Meta. All right. So real quick, I'm going to bless y'all, and I'm going to say we'll go over Apple and Meta real quick. Okay. So let's look at Apple, Meta, and y'all been talking about Marvel. So real quick. All right. But listen, let me say this. If you asking for that and you ain't in a Discord, you could have got that answered, last week over the weekend. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, listen, if you're on this live and you're not engaging in the community and stuff, like I highly encourage you to do so, because you could get these things answered faster. All right. So yes, YouTube is free, but listen, $40 a month could change your life. All right. Like, please understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to do Apple, Meta, and Marvel real quick. All right. So check this out. So we got Apple. So let's look at Apple real quick. So on the daily time frame, Apple looks like it wants to break out. Okay. But we really need to get above 215. It has this gap to fill. So really, if we can get above 216.21, then I could see Apple going to 221. But if it keeps doing all of this, then you just gonna have to sit around and wait to see what happens and wait to see it choose a direction, if that makes sense, right? So I'm not like, Apple moves pretty funny, honestly. Sometimes it'll break out, sometimes it'll just hover around for weeks at a time and just chop around. So yeah. So that is where we're at with Apple, right? Above 216.28, I would say that's good for calls, right? And then below, if they come up here and reject, then ride puts and ride them down. This is on a daily. On a weekly time frame, they look a little bit bearish slightly, but we have this good news and this catalyst coming out with the deal with the EU. So I think that the whole market is going to be lifted up and it's going to come up. Okay, so that's where we at with Apple. Let's go to Meta. If we go to Meta, let's see. Let's go to Meta. So Meta look like a double top right here. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Straight up. This look like a dead ass double top. One. Boom. Right. Boom. And then boom. All right. So this looks like a double top. Now, this could be a dip to buy to the upside for a short period of time, but just keep in mind that we're gonna get a pullback because this is a double top. If Meta does not come down, I would be shocked, and that would let me know that it's gonna come down at some point in time, right? But right now, because there's certain things going on with the market, they just want to push it up a little bit more, right? So this is how it was on a weekly. Let's go to the daily time frame. On a daily time frame. On a daily time frame, we got this right here. So it got this 9 EMA, 711, 720. All right, so just on a day-to-day, so let's talk about like tomorrow, we got this 712.07 level right here, and we got this 720.45. All right, so basically, if we break above 720.45 on Meta, I would get into calls, and you could ride this up to 723, okay, and then potentially 727. All right, so that's what we got with Meta. If it breaks below and it comes below 712.07, then you could get into puts and you could ride it down to 705. All right. So those are the levels for Meta. These three levels right here. All right. Support is 712.07. Resistance is 720.45. All right. And the next level is 724.18. And then the next level below is 705.33. And that's on Meta. All right. And then let's go look at Marvel. So Marvel, it looks bullish. If we could just get some more volume come in, it has a gap to fill all the way up to $85. Okay. But it hasn't been really like, the volume ain't really been coming in. But on on Marvel, if we can get above 74.58, really above, let's just say this 200 EMA right here, okay? Everything below this 200 EMA don't matter. All right. So above 75.41 is the real resistance right here. Once we get above this resistance, then I would say you could enter in the calls and you could ride it up to 79.12 and then 81.12, and then the next level after that would be 84.80. Okay, but we need to get above this 200 EMA, and that's 75.47. All right, that's 75.47 right there. All right, so that's where we at with Marvel. All right, MRVL. QTZ, what up, man? We missed you. We missed you, QTZ. Shout out to QTZ. Shout out to everybody in the Prosperity Collective. All right, shout out to everybody. If you're in the Prosperity Collective, I want to say salute to you and shout out to you. It's not just a Discord, all right? I want you to understand By the end of the year, it's going to be people saying they up 50K, 100K. All right, people quitting their job, buying the cars they want, moving out of the cities that they want to move out of. This shit is way deeper than a Discord. All right, so I want you to understand that this is deeper than a YouTube video about trading. I'm not making videos just to make them. All right, stock options, they changed my life. I was going door to door and I was selling solar. All right. And then I got into options. I started trading every single morning, went out and was going to sell. All right. And then 10 minutes later, I was able to quit. All right. I got tired of sales. So it's like, understand what this stuff could do for you. I just was in Colombia for 4 months, right? South America, right? I'm back in the US, but listen, you can do this. All right. So it's way deeper than just a Discord. Like, join the community, get tapped in, get engaged, like start to really learn this stuff. Get this stuff in your mind. All right. This ain't just about a Discord. All right. I want you guys to understand it. That's why I show up every single day, because I am serious about helping people change their lives. It's going to be people that become millionaires off of this YouTube channel. I'm not just saying that. I mean that with everything inside of me. We going to create millionaires. Over the next 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years, it's going to be people that touch $1 million, $2 million. It's going to be people that touch 6 figures. And they wasn't able to do that before. I'm telling you for a fact. So it's like, listen, watch every single video that I put out, not because it's about the views, because you could learn. Because when I was learning, I was watching people's videos every single day. I was consuming all the content I could so that I could really understand this stuff. All right. It's not about the views. It's about you getting the information that you need to be able to print money inside of the stock market every single day. That's what this stuff is about. All right. That's what this stuff is about. I really want you to understand that. It's not about the views. It's not about the popularity. It's about changing your life on a very deep level and helping you be able to go do the things that you want to do in your life freely because you learned how to crack the code in the stock market. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. So don't ever get it twisted. I'm not doing this for likes. I'm not doing this for the views. I'm doing this because it's somebody on the other side of this screen that was like me, and that's going to take this serious and that's going to run with it. It's some of y'all right now, you don't even know it, but in a year from now, your life going to be completely different. It's some of y'all right now, a year from now, you're going to be up 150K, all because you took it serious and you watched some YouTube videos and you joined a Discord. Like, it's some of y'all that's really going to change your life in a year. It's some of y'all that's going to change your life in 6 months. Some of y'all, it may take 2 to 3 years, but you still going to change your life. So understand what I'm really saying here. I do this for way more than YouTube subscribe. No, right? The more subscribers, the more the impact. But I want you to understand the power and the importance of locking in every single day and really taking time to really study so that you can understand this. Don't ask for a signal, right? Don't ask for a play. Ask for the understanding, right? That's what the Bible talks about. A wise person seeks wise counsel, right? So ask for the understanding. Don't ask for the thing, because the understanding is going to help you to create the thing more and more and more and more. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? This just came to me right now. Y'all are going to change your life. You just got to stay the course and keep waking up every day. That's why I say this could be your breakthrough week. And I mean that, because this week could change your life. You don't even understand how this week could potentially change your life. When I had my first $10,000 day, I didn't know that was about to happen on Sunday, but I showed up every day and then it just happened. And I was like, whoa. And then we got better and better and better. So it's like, understand what's being said here, y'all. Understand what's being said here. All right? Like, understand what's being said here. What up, William? So it's like, salute to everybody that is taking this stuff seriously. Salute. Like, I highly respect you. I know it's not easy. But what else I do know is I know it's worth it. I know it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? I know it's worth it. So it's like, y'all, come on now. You guys got this. All right? You guys got this. But you got to focus and you got to lock in. All right? This is not about views. If it was about views, I would have been stopped when I was only getting 100 views. When I'm putting videos out every single day, this ain't about views. This is about me not knowing you and changing your life through a television screen, a laptop screen. This is about you being able to go take your daughter or your son to practice without worrying about money. That's what this is about. This is about you being able to go travel, right, for a month and you being able to pay for it without a worry. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. This ain't about a like, a subscriber, right? That's just what happens as you grow on a platform. But this is way bigger than a platform. This is a life-changing situation here. Y'all get what I'm saying? You gotta want it. You gotta learn this stuff. Exactly. You gotta be invested in this stuff. You have to be. Best B said, changing my life and family's life. Hey, and salute, man. Best B be in it every day. And that's why his success has come so fast, because he was consuming this stuff. He wasn't playing around. He be showing up every day, multiple times a day. QT said, God sent me here. I want a community exactly described. Yeah. And QT, I didn't watch her go from wherever she was at to 150% trades, 80% trades, 90% trades. Right? That's what this is about. Right? Seriously. These messages, they just come to me. I don't need an outline. I don't need what am I going to talk about? I speak from the heart every single day. Every single video you see me make, why am I able to come out with videos every single day? Is because all I need to know is what do I need to talk about? And that's it. And I could go. That's what this is about. All right? What happens if Dell gaps up tomorrow and it opens up above 132.01? Does that mean it's gonna go up? So if it gaps up, then it may come down to fill the gap and then it could bounce up. All right. Or if it gaps up, it depends on where it gaps up to, like what the price range is. All right. So yeah. So it just depends on the actual price that it gaps up to. And you just got to pay attention to the price action. But if it gaps up by $1, it may just run, or it may just come down real quick the first 15, 30 minutes of the market and then start to slowly come up and then blast off for the rest of the week, right? So you just got to pay attention to that price action. All right. That boy Jimmy said, damn, bro, real talk. Finding your vids on a random February night was the best thing that could have come. 5 p.m. Keep going, do anything. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Seriously. Salute to Shali. Said, amen. Sky is the limit for you. Hey, let me tell y'all something, man. The sky is not the limit. The sky is a view. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's no limits to where we could take this. The YouTube, the Discord, your life, my life. It ain't no limits. Because in life, there are no limits. The only limits that truly exist are the words that we place upon our lives. That's all that's the only limits. So there ain't no limit. You know what I'm saying? But I do salute that boy Jimmy. And shout out to that. You know what I'm saying? Josh said, man, I'm going to join the Discord trying to change. Yeah, let's go, man. Let's go. That's all you got to do. We talking about $40 to go make $500 this week. And then, you ain't got to pay $40 for a whole other month. By that time, you already up 500, 1,000, 2,000. And then you just going to keep compounding it. That's what this is about. Ms. Virgo said, that's why I joined. Hey, I appreciate you, Miss Virgo. Appreciate you, Tia. Best Beezy with the crazy. Yeah, he got crazy profits every single day. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Jeff said my first video of you was how you made your first 40K a month, and it popped up on my screen. I felt like, yeah. And look, everything that I say is all facts. I don't try to come up here and try to do too much. I don't try to make it seem like I'm something I'm not, right? None of that. I just be me. If this is literally how I am in my real life, the things that I talk about, it's no fabrication. It's real life stuff. I done lost money and I done made money. But everything that I say is actual facts. Because I'm not trying to sell you a $10,000 package that ain't going to give you nothing. I'm trying to really change your life because I know I'm going to be blessed regardless of what happens in this life. I'm not worried about that. What I'm focused on is making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right, with my assignment. That's what matters, right? So that's why showing up every day is so important to me, because I'm the vessel for so many people in this world. Because there's so many people that ain't gonna give you the real information. They just gonna make a video so they could get the views, right? So they could get the subscribers, and that's it. I know everything gonna come, but it's about the consistency and showing up for people that I don't even know. I don't know any of y'all like that, right? But what I do know is you guys deserve to get your life changed, and you deserve certain information that may not be out there like that. Because you one video away from changing your life. You one video away from changing your life. Just think about that. One video away from changing your life. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, how you feel about the will strategy? I haven't dived into the will strategy enough to really like lock in, but so yeah, I ain't even gonna like lie to you and give you some. Oh yeah, no, I've heard of it. I've looked at a couple of videos, but I haven't implemented it in my life yet. So yeah, I haven't done it yet. So I don't have anything. All right, can I get your thoughts on what you think will happen with UNH? I think UNH is going to come down. I think UNH is going to come down. And after this, I'm going to get off. Let me show you why I think UNH is going to come down. Okay? Let's look at it. This is a tool I got, and this is also what you're going to get in the Discord, okay? This is a flow. This gives you the flow. All right, so look at this. This tells you how like the orders that are coming in. So look at UNH, y'all. This was on the 25th of July on Friday, right? Look at this. We got 7 million on puts, 33 million on puts for August 15th. Okay. We got 2.8 million on puts August 15th. We got 27 million on puts September 19th. We got 6 million on puts. We got 17 million on puts. We got 9.6 million on puts. We got 5.7 million on puts. We got 2.8 million on puts. We got 7.5 million on puts. We got 3.1 million on puts. We got 1.9 million on puts, and we got 1.5 million on puts. All these came in on Friday. All right. So I think that UNH is coming down. All right. I think that UNH is coming down. That's just what I think. All right. Helene said, thank you for introducing me to IWM. Hey, absolutely, Helene. All right. Hey, I love IWM, and IWM is going to feed you every day. At least 3 to 4 days a week, you could get a crazy banger on IWM. All right. So Veronica said, when people say sky's the limit, they really do mean there is no limit because the sky. Exactly. Yeah. No, that's true. That's true, Veronica. For sure. Donald said, you're a great teacher. Keep on doing it. Hey, I appreciate that, Donald. For sure, for sure. Let's look. Hey, let's look at the market real quick. Let's see what the market. It's probably all green. So let's see what we got on Robinhood real quick, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. Yeah, we green. Oh yeah. So look, Hims is at $58. Let's see where Dell is at. I want to see where Dell is at. So Dell right now is at 131.90. So yeah, everything, literally the whole watch list is green right now. So yeah, we may have like a little bit of a red when the market closes. When the market opens, we may come down a little bit to fill these gaps, depending on how big the gaps are, and then we could go up. But the SPY is at 639, which is $2 above that 637 all-time high level. So be cautious if you trade in the SPY, okay? And IWM right now is at 225. So IWM is up $1.42 overnight right now. So, but obviously we don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah. So yeah, that's where we at with it, y'all. All right. So yeah, hey, that boy Jimmy, man. Hey, yeah, I knew what you were saying, but I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just wanted to say that, but I knew what you were saying for sure. Cause the SPY being the limit is just oh, that boy Johnny, not Jimmy. My bad. That boy Johnny, not Jimmy. Hey, sometimes I be thinking I got dyslexia. For real. All right. But yeah, spy swing, call out 3 days. Okay. Lulu dropped. Okay. Yeah, we gonna see what happens. We gonna see what happens when the market opens. But yeah, futures are up, and we gonna see what happens. All right. So look, y'all. I hope you guys got something out of this live, man. I hope y'all really understand what's being said, and I hope y'all. He said I was like, yo. Hey, my bad, Johnny. Sometimes I be going so fast that, like, you know, sometimes I'll be going fast. But hey, look, now that we got that situated, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna do it again. So that boy Johnny, not Jimmy. Everything was just, you know, it was so close. So I was just reading fast. But my bad, yo, my bad. I know where Jimmy at. Wheelchair Jimmy, huh? But nah, listen, you guys have a great day. You have a great evening. All right. I hope y'all have a great evening. And tomorrow, look at Shali cracking up. Hey, honestly, I ain't gonna lie. Shali was the one who texted me, and she was like, yo, you keep calling him Jimmy. It's Johnny. So, and then when I did it again, she was like, you just did it again. So I was like, oh, okay, my bad. So, hey, Shali is the one who really, like, slowed me down on that one. All right. So listen, y'all have a great evening. If you have not joined the Discord, if you have not liked this video, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, if you have not booked a one-on-one, all right, all of those things we can definitely make happen and help you guys. But I want you guys to really change your life this year. All right, we got 5 more months: August, September, October, November, December. All right. So listen, what do I always say? I want y'all to say it with me this time. Get out of your head and get into this world, because your head is a dangerous place to live. All right. And also remember, the more you study, the less you worry. All right. So listen, tomorrow is going to be a banger. This week is going to be a banger. And so many lives is going to be changed. All right. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And I'm going to holler at y'all. All right. Peace. Let's get it. It's going to be a great week. I hope y'all ready.